Mickey! Τι λέω, θα κρατήσουμε σήμερα, έχω δύο μάπες. Δεν έπαιξε καλά. Χαρακτήρα, boys! We all here! Hey, you all at the gym, you still got it. What it comes... Το πρόβλημα είναι ότι απεκτονέρεται το φυσικά το ζούρι το χρόνια. Frankie, the boys coming or? Yes. I think they're all coming. Yeah, I know you do all the messages.
Away games, I mean.
No, yes, by the time you play,
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dalmannak Park on another big night of Australia Cup action. It's the second of our preliminary round semi-finals here in the West, with Cockburn City hosting Floreat Athena tonight. Great to have your company here. My name's Tommy Dolman. It's the local rounds of the Australia Cup, getting down to their nitty-gritty. We're live on and across streamer.com.au and also on the Football West Facebook page tonight for this contest between two teams looking to punch their tickets to the State Cup final and the round of 32 proper. Of course, as I mentioned before, this is the second of our two semi-finals. Last night we saw Inglewood United become the first team out of WA to enter the round of 32. They defeated Sorrento by 3-0 at Inglewood Stadium. A couple of goals for Michael Domfey there, and the others scored by youngster Chris Tilson. Of course, a spot in the State Cup final against Inglewood is up for grabs, and also an opportunity to be on the national stage, which these two are fairly accustomed to. Cockburn currently in their huddle at the moment. Floreat looking ready to go. The referees break from their final checks. Shane Skinner is your lead official out in the middle, and he'll be assisted by Kai Bartouche and Nick Chirillo. Andre Ferreira will be fourth official. So both of these teams come into tonight's fixture in a somewhat dangerous league position, but history states the Cup is a completely different kettle of fish for these two, knowing exactly what it's like to reach the business end of the State Cup. When it comes to one-off games in recent times, this pair tend to rise to the occasion. The question is who will do so tonight. We're off and we're underway. Cockburn kicking from left to right, wearing predominantly right. And Floreat kicking in the opposite direction in the darker kits. An early touch here for Daniel Doles, who has a little bit of time to weigh up and assess his options. Cross he goes to Josh Pereira. David Arraya's ball over the top. Giving chase is Ben Steele. Friday Zico left it behind, and Athena will try and have a little spell on the ball themselves for the first time, although they give it away. Here's Lukman Saeed on this near touchline. He'll go long and diagonal, aiming for Skoric. Now Lazaro, the skipper of Cockburn, a player who's so consistent and has been such a figurehead of this club over the journey. Did miss last year's State Cup final, however, with being away on holiday. Looking to make sure he perhaps doesn't miss this time around as Cockburn win a throw. Last touch was off Jesse Fuller. And Lukman Saeed will go over to hurl it in. Saeed, an off-season signing from Armidale. One of two who came across from Alfred Ski, along with Cherno Bar, who's not in the squad tonight. Saeed's cross came in it, took a slight defection. Gallen was able to head away partially, and Al Zaidi helped it into touch, and Saeed will get another go at it. Saeed's long throw again. Lazaro was competing. Phil Arnold was hammering it long upfield and giving Jesse Roberts something to chase. It was nicely guided back, though, by Pereira into the clutches of Michael Craggs. Craggs had that sensational game in last year's preliminary round semi-final. Of course, Cockburn, the winners of the State Cup last year, back at this stage of the competition for a second successive campaign. And in this game, they beat Sorrento at Percival Reserve by 3-1 after extra time. Scoric's header in board. Garnham was competing. Ben Steele will go all the way back to Jason Saudaris. Saudaris' ball forward. Andrade Basto's header up in the air. Now Garnham again. Across for Saeed in front of the Cockburn dugout. Turnover of possession. Boy tries to link up with Jesse Roberts, but Saeed's got him for pace and he should be able to get it back to his defensive teammate in Doles. Skoric will compete in the air all night. He'll find Lazaro with a nod down. Now Friday Zico with the bright orange boots over on the far side. Loves his left foot. He comes in board on the right instead and almost scoots through a couple of challenges. Still an opportunity here for Cockburn through Araya. Andrade Basto. Pass was a little firm for Doles, but he's got plenty of time to go and reel it in. Conditions tonight completely the opposite in terms of the precipitation. Last night we had a deluge of rain, particularly in the second half. Clear, still cool conditions tonight as the cross came in from Andrade Basto. Nodded down by Skoric, volleyed by Zico! And it wasn't far away from a sensational Cockburn start. He's got a habit of pulling those out of the top draw. Does Friday Zico. The technique was magnificent. The direction ever so slightly off. Scored one memorable goal in particular here at this ground all the way back in round 2 against Bayswater. Side again. Garnham. Here's Ivan Skoric with a nice piece of footwork. Cross was charged down by Fuller. Jesse Roberts leading the line for Ambrogio. Floreat's leading scorer in 2023. Pass was slightly overhit though, and Cockburn will get it back. Cockburn City playing their 3rd consecutive game at home in this competition this season. Their first game was on the road, a 2-0 win away at Rockingham, and then a couple of 1-0 wins on the spin against NPL WA men's leaders Perth Red Star, and also against Division 1 Guelph, Croatia. Lazaro with a winner against Red Star. Jess Grasse against Guelph, Croatia. And they have proven to be a tough match, have the Cockerels, particularly for some of the bigger hitters in the league over the years. Only highlighted really by Floreat's visits here last season. Floreat, of course, the league champions in season 2022, but Cockburn took 4 points off them last season. A 3-0 win here and also a 3-3 draw at E&D Leaders Stadium. A little bit of history between these two as Zico advances forward with the ball. He's got Araya for support inside. Opts to go back for Andrade Basto instead. Good defending there by Pereira. Lazaro's layoff for Charlie Garnham. Now Friday Zico. Garnham continued his run, managed to stay on side. 3 to aim for in the middle. Cross was charged down by Steele. I think it was in a far side. And Cockburn will get the throw and stay on the front foot. I mentioned before briefly the conditions. It was a rather sluggish start to last night's Inglewood and Sorrento game, partly due to the wind and the greasy surface, and not to mention the rain later on in the game, but it's been a brisk start here to match the Baltic conditions that we've got this evening in Perth's southern suburbs. Garnham just tries to help that one towards the target. It's an easy claim for Jason Saudaris, though. He goes long with the clearance, and it gives Alzadi something to get involved in. Almost ran past the ball, though, and allowed Doles to swoop it up. Skoric has headed down. It's an absolute beauty now. Ivan Skoric has got Fuller for company. Has to wait for the support to arrive. It does now behind him in the form of Saeed, who crosses deep, looking for Skoric. Zico was also arriving at the back post, but that's an easy watch behind for Floreat's rear guard. Noted Cockburn's run to the final before. Floreat Athena, 3-1 win over amateur side Jaguar in the round of 32, and then a 1-0 win away at Division 2 Curtin University. And in the last round, last Wednesday night, they got a 1-0 win away at the NPL's second place team Balcatta. It was young Jesse Roberts with the only goal in that game, with not too much time remaining. was a little bit unlike Floreat last season. Even though they went on to win the league, the cups of where they've really excelled in past couple of seasons. They were winners in 2016, 2019, and also in 2021, representing WA on the national stage in each of those 3 campaigns. Lazaro linking up with Ivan Skoric here. Anthony's in the middle. He's at the back post. He got his head to it. Tough one to try and turn towards the target. Still here for Cockburn, though. Ethan Mom was trying to make some inroads down that right-hand side. And Cockburn in the white shirts are able to get numbers back. Little turnover, though. Mom does well. Roberts lays it back. Phil Arnold, only really one to aim for in the middle. It goes the direction of Al Zaidi. And Ludovic Boy's now arriving at the back post. The cross comes in. Mom was arriving. So too Phil Arnold, who drives over. Was always rising up and past Craggs' bar, but Floreat there winning the second balls, keeping it alive, and chance opened up for Phil Arnold there. I've seen both teams with openings from the edge of the area inside the first 10 minutes or so. Zico. Andrade Bastos up on the overlap. Cross took a deflection and Gallen was able to sweep away. Boy over the top. Roberts. Pereira just slipped slightly and that allowed the striker to get on the end of the pass. 2 arriving in the area. Ethan Mom with him in support too. Roberts, left-footed delivery, deep ball in. Al Zaidi was there, Boy competing, hooking towards goal was Ambrogio, who arrives from midfield as he often does. Striker who, well, attacking midfielder really, who's largely been playing as a false 9/number 10 this season. He's just got that sort of ability to end up in the right place at the right time. His timing most certainly is impeccable in terms of those midfield runs. David Araya clips over the top. Lukman Saeed should be able to keep it alive and does. Now Lazaro. Saeed's cross in. Anthony Skoric was leaping. Gallen volleys away, only as far as Doles. Garnham loses the 50-50 to Boy, and now Ethan Mom will come in the other direction. Pace is good so far in this one. Quality just hasn't quite been there, but that's partly due to the pressure of both teams as well. Fast and frenetic pace to this game thus far. Lazaro. Switch the play. Slipping on the surface there was Zico. And Shane Skinner waves the advantage. Presumably there was a handball there from the Cockburn winger. Now Nick Ambrogio. Mom. Cross comes in. Roberts. Hooked a right-footed shot towards goal. It took a deflection and Floreat will get the first corner kick of the evening. So, almost quarter of an hour played at Dalmadnak Park. It's Cockburn 0, Floreat 0. Streamer.com.au, Football West Facebook page tonight as well. Winner to take on Inglewood in the State Cup final and enter the round of 32 as Ambrogio's ball comes in. Craggs came with a big catch. Exactly what you want from your goalkeeper as a defending team, and The release isn't bad either for Garnham, who's only really got Zico ahead of him. He'll make the run into the channel and drive into the penalty area on that left foot. It was a good sliding challenge and one which did not concede a corner. Good work there from Philip Minich over on the far side. Youngster who got his opportunity in the middle of last season after a injury at left back, particularly to Riley Woodcock. One of several young players, along with Roberts and Mom, and those who are sort of waiting in the wings. Still a couple of high caliber players out for Athena, a couple of members of their title winning team last season. Come back to that in a second. Cross deflected once again. And behind for a corner, so no Andrew Palmer tonight, no Bailey Brown Montgomery, nor Sean McManus, nor Noah Shamaki either. Robert Petkov is back on the bench tonight, which would be a big boost for Vas Vujicic's team. Ambrogio with the delivery. Fuller was trying to volley. Phil Arnold then drove it in low. In fact, it was Al-Zaidi, my apologies. Zico's layoff. Saeed trying to just turn it around the corner. Zico with strength, holds off Al-Zaidi, and he'll try and slip in Lazaro, but can't quite do so. Roberts poked through, Ambrogio giving chase. Craig's off his line. Zico. Fuller was able to barge him off the ball and his team a throw. Once again, it's taken quickly. Garnham may have been caught late. Play continues. Skoric's cross comes in. Skoric then lost his footing, as a few players have tonight. Drade Basto. Steele upfield, formerly the Southwest Phoenix. Skoric. Boy with strength. Nudges Garnham off the ball now. Roberts has got to wait for the teammates to arrive. One presents now in the form of Al-Zaidi. Little reverse is good for Roberts, who goes in turn to Boy, but Araya had a little bit of a head start on the 2015 gold medal winner, Ludovic Boy. His throw found the feet of Ambrogio, and Floreat will win another corner, so a third within the last 5 or so minutes. Athena looking to try and ramp up a little bit of pressure. Ambrogio once again on the kick. This time it's a little deeper. It's headed back across goal. Leaping was Arnold. And it'll creep in past a diving Craggs. And Phil Arnold puts Floreat Athena into the lead here at Dalmatinak Park. And he's calling for the trainer, having taken a knock in amongst the set piece. But it's the goal that counts. As far as last season's NPL winners are concerned, they're up by a goal to 0 at Dalmatinak Park. So first blow to the defending champions of the league against the holders of the cup. Cockburn 0, Floreat 1. A Phil Arnold header, putting the visitors in front. Their third set piece in quick succession yielded reward. And in the aftermath of that, he looks to have picked up a little bit of knock. Just trying to have a little bit of a look off your screen as to what's going on. Might be a little bit of blood coming out of the nose, so that's why the delay was after the goal. Floreat still defending with a man less for now as Cockburn go forward trying to respond. Skorich flicked it on. Araya was the runner, and the header will skip out of play. A little bit of a quirk, though, in terms of the Australia Cup finalists in the final for this season. All of them in the bottom half of the league. Coming into the Tuesday and the Wednesday, we had 8th and 12th last night. We've got 9th and 11th tonight. Certainly not what you're used to seeing. Then again, when you look at 3 of the 4 names, these are teams that are very accustomed at playing in knockout games and one-off matches, so perhaps not a complete surprise. Here are the 2022 Cup winners in Cockburn trying to go forward. Zico turns it over. Ambrogio has Ethan Mom to his right. Phil Arnold has just been waved back onto the pitch, so both teams at their full complement of 11. Araya's pass picked off by Dennis Gallen. Just tries to chip a ball forward, but it's an easy one for Craggs to get started again. Here's Said. Decision going Floreat's way, just inside the Athena defensive half. A chance to launch one forward, perhaps in the direction of either of the Skoriches, Anthony or Ivan. Forward from Doles. Anthony Skorich was leaping. Andrade Basto, cushioned down by Ivan Skorich. Up in the air by Steele. Nodded back by Garnham. Saudaris thought about coming and then almost lost his footing, and a little bit of a hearts in mouth moment there for Floreat followers out there. Both of these teams not having wins at the weekend. Cockburn got a point against Bayswater City. Anthony Skorich's header giving them a 1-1 draw away at Frank Drago Reserve. Floreat with a 3-0 loss at home to Olympic Kingsway. That despite winning their 2 previous games before it to look as though they'd rediscovered a little bit of form. Mom, little 1-2 with Minich. Return pass was a little too heavy, and it'll be a Cockburn ball. Scorrich's layoff. Mum's poke forward, Andrade Basto, who was sensational in that semi-final as well. I mentioned Craigs before, but Andrade Basto was up and down that left-hand flank last season. Plenty of energy, plenty of quality into the box as well. Not quite seeing the fullback get into those positions as much as usual tonight. Floreat have done a pretty good job so far in terms of only really restricting the Cockerels to that Friday Zico chance early on. Zico pokes through, will reach Lazaro, who just got it stuck under his foot temporarily. The ball in, Scorrich's layoff. Can Zico take it in his stride? He was almost bundled off it by a retreating Arnold, and that was an important intervention from the midfielder just to give them the weight of numbers back there. It was a pretty smooth move overall, though, from Cockburn. Fuller's throw was an awkward one for Ambrogio to try and reel in. Charlie Garnham, off-season signing. Ivan Scorric. Side up the line, balls across the line there, and a bit of a cheap giveaway from the home side. Ambrogio turning away from Araya. Ethan Mum's out wide. Shane Skinner playing advantage. Good defending there from Andrade Basto. Scorric with a dummy. Clever. Lazaro. Andrade Basto continued his run forward. He's got the white shirts arriving forward now. One of them is Anthony Scorric. To his right is either Saeed or Ivan Scorric. It's the latter who gets it. And in the end, Floreat do well to get numbers back, and Cockburn have to start again. Doles with a cross. It's cut out by Minich. Time for the visitors to do some defending. Saeed's first-time cross ended up being straight down the throat of Saudaris, and that was easy pickings for two-time Goalkeeper of the Year winner. Chance for handball against Roberts, spotted by referee Shane Skinner. Refereed his first A-League game at the back end of 2022-2023 season, did Shane Skinner, so not just the younger players going on to the higher level, it's the young officials as well, progressing through the ranks. Scorric there, not quite on the same wavelength, as Lazaro. Saudaris will send that one clear, and Mom will gently chase that as Pereira watches out for a throw. Fixture just in a little bit of a holding pattern at the moment. Both teams defending pretty stoutly. Floreat in particular, since they've got the goal, have been happy to just maintain a little bit of shape. Try and take the sting out of things. Another player down on the far side. I think that's Gallen this time. He's back to his feet now. One of many who's been with Athena for a number of years, Dennis Gallen. Phil Arnold. Ludovic Boy. Pass cut out by Garnham. Now David Araya. Saeed. Ivan Skoric. Araya again. Friday Zico. Nice move this by Cockburn. Still alive. Zico uses Garnham. Floreat putting the press on. Cockburn keeping it. Zico then took it off the feet of Skoric, and clearance is an easy one for the visitors to make. Ambrogio. Mom trying to scoot past Pereira, who went in with a desperate lunge and was able to get it back to his goalkeeper. Skoric. Cross came in, took a deflection. Saudaris was watching and catching. Roberts. Forward by Gallen. Ambrogio sprung the offside trap. He's got Garnham with him for company. In the end, he's able to win a throw for his team deep in Cockburn territory. The throw's taken quickly. It was well read. Ambrogio pinched it back. The cross came in. It was flicked on. And at the back post, Ethan Mom's unmarked. It was an important save from Craggs, who made himself as big as possible at that near post and ensured the ball wouldn't pass. Not sure if Ludovic Boy got the faintest of flick-ons there in the area. He's not normally the aerial target. Is the Athena number 14, but Mom was unmarked, and perhaps a little bit of a let-off there for Cockburn as Floreat tried to up the ante. Boy stands one up. Deep delivery, full of fighting. Is able to pickpocket one of the Cockburn defenders, and then in his hustle to try and win back the ball, he committed the foul on David Araya. Ambrogio. Phil Arnold. Cut out by Jade Basto. Roberts lifted forward. Craggs will claim again. Now a chance to try and send his fullback forward into a little bit of space. And Cockburn have got some numbers here if they can utilise the ball well, but Bastow didn't like anything he saw. I'll try the switch for Saeed. Zico's come to this near side now to try and get involved. Araya, Skorich, little turn inside, read by Gallen. Tried to almost squeeze a pass out of defence off the outside of the boot. It's a pretty good one. It sends Floreat into a counter. Mom lays off for Ambrogio, who's got Roberts, and Mom continuing his run forward. Bastow did well to get across, though, and slide around the corner. And now it's Cockburn who can come the other way in transition, but that pass misses the mark, and both teams missing their cutting edge in the final third, as Mum couldn't stay on side. Craggs made the save in any case. Bastow, Charlie Garnham, Lazaro, Skorich, offside. Cockburn have shown at times that when they can get the ball into Anthony Skorich, that they are able to link a few nice passages of play together. It's just not quite come off, though, yet in terms of that final pass. Cockerel's trailing by a goal to nil. Around about 5 minutes left in this first half here at Dalmatinach Park. Phil Arnold's 19th minute header, the separator so far. Cockburn trying to give themselves a spring in their step before the interval. Lazaro's layoff. Araya. Zico clipped forward. Lazaro in pursuit. He tried to lob Saldaris, who stood tall and made sure that he wasn't going to be beaten by the one over the top. And once again, just that little shade of what I mentioned before. Cockburn putting their passes together nicely. They're just not quite getting that quality at its absolute maximum in the key moments. That was a good opening, though, with Lazaro. I've seen him score plenty of deft finishes like that over the years. There he is again. Lazaro had a little spell with Perth Glory's Academy a very long time ago. Boy. Ambrogio. Roberts. Counter-attack from Floreat. Roberts opts to hold up for Boy, whose pass was read like a book by Lazaro. Garnham. Andrade Bastow. Chance to skip past a challenge and cross low into the area. It didn't beat Steele, and he's able to hammer upfield. And Roberts had come back from an offside position in competing for that ball on halfway. Lazaro's layoff. Garnham. Cockburn continue to build ahead of steam. Bastow's cross into the area. Might reach Friday. Zico at the back post. First time. Lazaro deflected and in. And Cockburn do get their leveller before the interval. They put together some nice passages of play over the past few minutes. They got a little bit of fortune on that occasion, but they're probably deservedly level on the balance of play. It's Cockburn 1, Floreat 1. So Cockburn 1, Floreat 1. Goal right on the stroke of half-time for the Cockerels, pulls them level. And should it stay like this at the interval, it'll set up the second half brilliantly as Anthony Skorich, tried to leap high and above Gallon. Took an awkward landing. Foul was against the Cockburn forward. Arnold with a big switch. Ambrogio tried to header. Infield. Forward from Gallon. Ambrogio into the channel. Ball will just race away from him and he prevents the goal kick and keeps it in play. Roberts with a layoff. Al-Zaidi. Cross comes into the area. Leaping was Ambrogio. Lifted back in by Roberts. Still dangerous here. Cockburn not quite cleared their lines. Now they do through Araya. Steele goes straight up and under. Zico carries past Al-Zaidi. Skorich's layoff. Jesse Lazaro. Cockburn come forward now. The clip over the top. Ivan Skorich is onside. Zico and Anthony Skorich arriving at the back post. So to Andrade Basto, whose cross is headed away. Saeed. Ball just got away from Garnham. Mom. Arnold. Philip Minich. Late in the piece here at Dalmatnak Park. Does either team have time left to create one final chance? Araya. Garnham's pass nearly allowed. Ambrogio to steal in. Doles comes wide. Saeed. Lazaro makes the forward run. Zico nearly pickpocketed by Boy. Cockburn keep the ball. Now the ball forward. Saeed giving chase. Fuller has defending to do and does it well. So Saeed's throw, trying to flick it on there, was Skorich. And the shouts for handball were against Cockburn. That might just do us for first 45 minutes. Although in saying that, we did have that longish stoppage for Phil Arnold after he did score the opener, so may have a little bit more time to add on. Araya. Fuller. Zico. Ivan Skoric. Referee tried to play advantage and none was forthcoming, so the free kick comes back for the body check. Doles. Played low for Zico. Good defending, though, from Al-Zaidi, who wasn't to be beaten. And Brojo closed down by two white shirts, and he'll try and send Mum forward early. And the handball was spotted, and now be Floreat who get a set piece. So Arnold's free kick past the two-man wall. The clearance was up and away and behind for a corner, and there will be time to take this. This has to be the last action of the first half, surely. As Ambrojo's ball comes in, it's aimed in deep. Steele won the header at the back post. Danger not dealt with. Sticking out a glove was Craggs. And it's Arnold who's there again to turn in with the last kick of the first half. And Athena pinch it with little to no time left in this first half. And they're going to take a 2-1 lead into the interval. Cockburn 1, Floreat 2. And that'll do. So just about the last kick of the half, as I said, and it's been a fast and frenetic game as you'd perhaps expect, given the reward at the end of it in terms of the cup final spot and the round of 32 position. Halftime score: Cockburn 1, Floreat 2. Cockburn started well Friday. Zico with a flashing shot early, and then Floreat got into a bit of a groove, had a few set pieces in a row. They equalised through one of them when Phil Arnold headed home. And then just as Cockburn were able to equalise after a good spell of their own, a Jesse Lazaro deflected effort, which might have been going in anyway, but the deflection took it past Jason Saudaris. It was one final twist as Nick Ambrojo whipped in a corner, and after Ben Steele headed back across goal, Phil Arnold eventually hammered off the underside of the bar and in, and his double is what gives Athena a 2-1 lead at the interval. Don't go anywhere. Second half still to come, plenty to play for with Cup and round of 32 up for grabs. Back shortly. Welcome back to Dalmadnak Park for the second half of this preliminary semi-final for the Australia Cup out of WA. Cockburn City 1, Floreat Athena 2 at the break. 2 Phil Arnold goals, either side of a Jesse Lazaro equaliser. Has Athena currently on course for a 4th appearance at the round of 32 stage. Cockburn have certainly shown some green shoots throughout the game, though, and they can't be discounted from making a 3rd appearance themselves. Shane Skinner just doing his final count to make sure it's 11 v 11, no changes from either team at the interval, and we're off and running. Floreat getting us started in this second half, and Steele launching long upfield for Jesse Roberts. A reminder that if we do end the game level after 90 minutes, we will have extra time and, if needed, penalties to decide the fate of who will progress. There has to be a winner this evening out of tonight's game. Garnham's layoff. Saeed. Anthony Skorich. Charlie Garnham again. Lazaro, that's a lovely pass to find Zico in a little bit of space. Chance to run it, Philip Minich. The cross took a deflection into the grateful arms of Saudaris, and in fact he couldn't quite keep it in time, and Cockburn get the first set piece of the second period. I mentioned that thriller that they were involved in last season. The Cockerels, 3-1 at Percy-Doyle Reserve. They're in a good game once again here. Chance to draw first blood in the second half here with Garnham's corner. It's aimed in. Not quite dealt with. Eventually it's slammed away by Fuller. Mom for Al Zaidi. Now Phil Arnold, the hero of the night so far, advancing towards the edge of the area, ran into trouble, and then a little bit of friendly fire there, I feel, as Pereira hit his own teammate with the attempted clearance. A little bit slow in getting back to his feet there. I think it's Doles who's back there. Minich can keep alive. Now Ludovic Boy. Now Zadie and Roberts both made the same run. Cockburn can come away with it. Zara was nearly able to sneak in there as there was a little bit of a miscommunication at the back. These two teams met in the 2021 edition of the competition. At this stage, it was Floreat who booked their passage with a 3-0 win at E&D Leaders Stadium. I mentioned briefly in the first half a little bit of history that these two teams have. It was Cockburn who faltered Floreat famously on the final day of season 2020. When Floreat only had to win but came from behind. Roberts, layoff, Ludovic Boy, left-footed strike. Craigs with a fumble, and he was able to get it behind. Good football, though, from Floreat there in the build-up. It was Floreat who were needing to win that game just to continue on. They were leading by a goal to nil, and then two Cockburn goals combined with a 4-0 win for ECU gave them the title, famously in the COVID year. As Ambrogio whips in the subsequent set piece, it's past everybody. And it'll whiz away from Ben Steele, who puts the cross into that near post. Awkward one to clear. Danger still not dealt with. Arnold with the drive. Bodies behind the ball for Cockburn, and it's hooked away. Boy. Roberts. Pass was a little heavy for Ambrogio, and Cockburn will get a bit of a restarter. And Boy, a little slow in getting back up to his feet. A player who scored winning goal a fortnight ago in Floreat's last away game, which was in a league, a trip to Inglewood Stadium, where they won by a 1-0. His late penalty getting the points there. Play back underway now as Pereira. Vasvijasic in conversation with his assistant. No doubt discussing ways in which they think is best to manage this one out. Here's Andrade Basto. Cross comes in from the left, it deflects off Minic. His opposite number 13 and behind for a corner. Vasvijasic, who's done a sensational job with Floreat since replacing Ante Kovacevic. Probably the toughest season he's had, though. Been largely successful otherwise. Garnham's corner comes in, stooping header. Ball could have gone anywhere via a deflection off Floreat legs, and it went behind for a corner. And we saw Floreat have some repeat set pieces in the first half, and they were able to conjure a goal. What can Cockburn do with this? It's Garnham's ball in again. Saudaris is under it, and he clutches gratefully to his chest and gives Athena a little bit of respite. Looks as though we're going to see Pacific Tafida Makiza come on shortly. Wonder if that'll be Ludovic Boy who makes way. We've not seen him emerge back onto the field just yet. As Floreat defender with 10, but the ball forward from Cockburn is wayward. And now that aforementioned change will be made, so Tafida Makiza will enter the fray early in this second period. It looks as though our Zadie will come more centrally, and Tafida Makiza will go out over on that left-hand side. He's a Ellenbrook United junior. Player who scored 13 goals across the under-18s and the under-20s last season, so knows where the back of the net is, and this is a big occasion for the young man to step into. Andrade Basto, Skoric. Ambrogio, Ethan Mom. Trying to play out of a tight pocket. The defending league champions. And they'll win a throw just in front of their dugout. Al-Zaidi. Minic, Ambrogio. Roberts ahead of him. Arnold with a step over. Does well to rediscover Mum on the near side. Across comes in, Craggs came early, and once again he's fast off his line as the stopper, but dealing with those crosses with real authority so far is the Cockburn number 1. Araya's pass misplaced. Jesse Roberts into the penalty area. He'll lay off for an arriving Tafida McKeeser over on the far side. That would have been a heck of an introduction for the substitutes. Tafida McKeeser. Flag went up late, but looked to be the right call from a very poor position here relative to that decision. Refs always tend to have the best view of these things. Well, that's a little bit sloppy from Pereira, who just took his eye off the ball slightly, and that's a cheap turnover of possession, which gives Floreat a chance to camp themselves into Cockburn territory. Two clubs with plenty of history here in the West going head to head. Famous old clubs. Advantage is Floreat so far. Ethan Mom. Poked inside. Ambrogio flashes across goal. That was a crucial hand from Craggs. He got down low. Might have just been creeping into that bottom corner, you know, as well. Goalkeeper's had a pretty good game so far in between the sticks. Now Al-Zaidi, Ethan Mom. Al-Zaidi went on the overlap. Pass went inside for Ambrosio. Clipped into the area. Waiting is Tafida McKeeser, and Cockburn are able to guide it back to their goalkeeper once again, and he'll set Cockburn on their way. Lazaro. Skoric's layoff. Out to Ivan Skoric. David Araya, who scored in Cockburn's round of 32 game back in 2016 against Melbourne Knights. That was a 2-1 defeat for the Cockerels that evening. Here he is again, the number 10. Lazaro. Araya again. There's space wide on the right. It comes left instead for Garnham. And now Andrade Basto. Chance for the delivery to come in now, but it's charged down by Mom, and Floreat's work rate continues to stand up to the mark so far. Charlie Garnham. Doles, who was on the last line, brings it forward. Everybody behind the ball for Floreat. Cross comes in from the right. It's too close to Saudaris, though. And that was a disappointing delivery with several white shirts in the penalty area waiting. Ambrogio pinches it in midfield. Roberts. Tafida McKeeser. Roberts once more. Pass took a little touch, and Floreat stay on the front foot. So coming up to the hour mark here at Down Madinac Park. Cockburn City 1, Floreat Athena 2. No change to the halftime scoreline. 2 Phil Arnold goals, either side of Jesse Lazaro's equaliser, the difference so far. Tafida McKeeser. Nick Ambrogio. Dancing through 2 or 3, challenges him, poking wide of the post. Daniel Doles. Little 1-2 with Garnham. Cockburn opting for patience. Everybody behind the ball and looking well organised in an Athena away shirt. Now the trigger's pulled upfield. It's headed away by Minich. Only as far as Araya. Lovely first touch to bring that under control. Araya looked as though he was clipped then by Arnold, and Shane Skinner spots it, and it'll be a Cockburn free kick in dangerous position. Maybe a little too far out for a shot, but when you've got somebody with the quality of Jesse Lazaro on the ball, anything can happen. As four line up in the blue and black Athena wall. Plenty of white shirts forward for Cockburn. Lazaro clips it into the back post. Two attacking it. Araya was one of them. Skorich may yet still keep it alive. He's got two for company, and he's got to wriggle out of a bit of a cul-de-sac here. And eventually weight of numbers wins out, but Cockburn can still try and crank it up a little bit. Andrade Basto. Araya. Cockburn having a nice little spell here. Doles goes forward. Should be easy to head away for Minichineers. Touch was a little heavy. It invited Andrade Basto to challenge. Kept his cool though, did Mom, and upfield it goes. Play continues despite the protests for a foul from the Cockburn dugout. Ambrojo's clip in. Roberts leaping. Arriving was Ethan Mum. And now to Fitter McKeezer, who leant back on the effort and scooped it high and over the bar. And he'll have wanted to do a little bit better with that. The youngster, that was a gift-wrapped opportunity, really, as the passes were shuffled from right to left. And all the youngster had to do was get his head over the ball and hit the target, and he couldn't do so. And Cockburn are still on the game, and they're coming forward here now through Ivan Skorich. The midfield runners arrive. One of them's Araya. Garnham. Daniel Doles. Cross comes in. Lazaro shouts for handball. Nothing doing. Still here for Cockburn. Away from Steele. In it comes again from the Cockerels. Skorich's layoff. Friday Zico with a touch. Goes to ground. Shouts for a penalty. Mainly from the crowds. No penalty, but a corner is given. Crowd is built pretty nicely here at Madnak Park for a midweek game. Bit of a slow build given people still making their way home from work, but they're seeing a pretty good cup tie here. Plenty on the line. Charlie Garnham with the latest corner. Leaping with Skorich once more. It'll come all the way through for Saeed. Saeed with a piece of fancy footwork. Gives it away. And now Ethan Mom will try and counter for Floreat. And they've temporarily got a 2-on-2 here. A 3-on-3 with Roberts arriving. And the crossfield switch was charged down. Phil Arnold for Jesse Roberts, prodded back by Garnham. Just the one change from either team so far, if you are late to joining us in the second half. Ludovic Boy came off it in the early minutes of the second half, rather. Pacific to Fitter McKeezer, his replacement. Cockburn yet to turn to their pine. Skorich's cross, deep delivery. Backpedaling is Saudaris, and better safe than sorry for the Floreat stopper, who elected to just help that over his own crossbar rather than take a chance catching. Garnham's delivery again. Saudaris came and conquered in the air. Lazaro trying to tiptoe out of a tight space. If Floreat do go on to hold on and win this game, it'll be their first victory in 4 meetings against Cockburn. 2-1 win for Cockburn when the teams meet earlier in the season, with Zico and Skorich getting the goals, and also that 3-3 draw and that 3-0 win to Cockburn I spoke about from last season. Arnold's ball through. Jesse Roberts onside. That looked like strong defending, and the referee will call for a free kick, and I'm not sure if that was an offside flag or whether an infringement was spotted there. My eyes were on the ball, so I'm not 100% sure, but play continues nevertheless. Araya. Garnham has Said out wide. Araya gets it to him now. Araya again, cross into the area. Anthony Skorich leaping. Ivan Skorich at the drop. Tried to help it back for Zico. Only found Arnold. And now Floreat will try and come away with it, but the clearance is effective from Pereira. Lazaro just about beat Steele, couldn't beat Gallen. Saudara clears under pressure. Cockburn can come again. Floreat having to weather a bit of a storm at the moment in terms of repeat entries deep into the visitors' territory. Lazaro gets it back for Doles. Cross comes in, that's deep and far too deep for any Cockburn interest. So, touch over 20 minutes left then in this preliminary semi-final of the Australia Cup here in the West. Who will book their place in the round of 32 with Inglewood United? At the moment, it's Floreat leading by 2-1. Live, streamer.com.au. We're also on the Football West Facebook page as well. Tommy Dolman with you on the call this evening. That's a handball against Al-Zaidi, who then kicked the ball away. And Shane Skinner takes no sympathy and gives out the first yellow card of the evening, I think that is. Play restarted again as Pereira exchanges passes with Doles. That's cut out. Now Ambrogio has his skates on, but Craggs is sweeping. That was good positioning from the Cockburn stopper again. Lazaro. Andrade Basto. Friday Zico. Oh, nice piece of footwork there to turn away from an opponent. He'll set Lazaro into the area. Trying to shield behind was Steele, and verdict is a goal kick with Lazaro helping up the defender. Zico. Anthony Skorich. Araya. Lukman Saeed. Another deep cross. Skorich leaping. Up in the air goes the header. And up in the air goes Saudaris with the catch. Lazaro's layoff. Garnham. Zico coming centrally. Was able to just shuffle the ball wide for Skorich. Did well with strength to keep it for his team. Garnham. Plenty of touches on the ball in this half, but that pass was not his best. We're going to see a substitution here. Not sure who for just yet. I think it's going to be Cockburn, and it is. We're going to see Levi Peterson enter the fray, and he'll come on in place of Ivan Skorich. So no heroics for Ivan this year. He'll depart. We're also going to see John Guya come on as well. So double switch by Steve McDonald. Former Sorrento and Perth Soccer Club defender, well known to those who've been around the league for a number of years. Was actually part of Mirko Jelisic's coaching staff as the assistant last year as Cockburn went on to win the cup. I'm just trying to identify the other player who's made his way off the ground for Cockburn. I think it's Lukman Saeed, but we'll confirm if otherwise shortly. Ambrogio into the area, pulls across. Cleared away by Basto. Minich, Ethan Mom. A little bit of space for Alzadi in midfield. Fullback was Fuller. The pass missed the mark. Cockburn get it back. So Peterson's gone into right back where Saeed was, and John Guya is on that right-hand side over on the far end of the pitch. Like-for-like switches there, so the system stays the same for now. Just wonder whether Cockburn will maybe alter things a little bit more in the final 10 minutes once it does get a little bit more all or nothing. Of course, there's no tomorrow in terms of this competition for loser of this game. Skorich tries to feed through for Guya to get involved. First time, and ball will escape him and drift behind for a goal kick. It's the one goal so far in season 2023 for John Guya. That was scored away at Dorrien Gardens all the way back in round 3 against Perth Soccer Club. And a 1-0 win. That game was a little bit of a smash and grab by the Cockerels from memory. Game where Perth had the lion's share of the possession, but were unable to beat Crags. Here's Peterson. Guya. That right-hand side getting a little bit of work into it straight away. Here's Peterson again. Defida McKeeser. Jesse Roberts. He was able to play it off. Pereira. And Floreat advance up the field. It's not quite being the fast and frenetic game we saw in the first half. Cockburn have had a lot more of the possession, I'd suspect. Floreat quite happy to defend and stay organised, albeit they have probably had the best opportunity with Defida McKeeser putting high over the bar. Roberts tries to win his team a corner and succeeds. Maybe a little bit early. Certainly aren't in any hurry to try and get things moving. Corner comes in from Ambrogio. Crags came, caught, and he'll try and set Zico off and running with a pumping long throw out of goal. Zico then just got the ball stuck under his foot, and Floreat were able to emerge. Now the counter's on. Defida McKeeser allowed time to turn. Jesse Roberts, the runner. It's Phil Arnold who comes into the area. He tried to get it on his left foot and get the strike off, but Cockburn's rear guard were back in position. Basto was caught late. Keen to get things moving, understandably. Guya with a lovely bring down there out of the air. Got it to Peterson. Little reverse, took a deflection. Guya giving chase. Gallen with the coolness and the calmness a player of his experience has. Cockburn are going to make another change now. Sebastian De Silva will enter the fray. Player in his second spell with Cockburn. He was with them as a junior and played some NPL men's minutes back in 2021, but spent last season with relegated Guelph, Croatia, before returning to Dalmanak Park, and he'll come on for Josh Pereira, so that most certainly will mean there'll be a bit of a reshuffle, I imagine, with De Silva naturally an attacker, so seems Peterson has come into the centre of defence. Guya goes to right back, and De Silva is a little further afield. As we hit about 10 minutes left. 10 minutes for Cockburn to save their cup conquest. 10 minutes for Athena to try and make the round of 32 once again. Those two goals from Phil Arnold after set pieces, the difference thus far. second of our Australia Cup preliminary semi-finals out of WA. Inglewood booking their passage with a 3-0 win over Sorrento last night. 2 Michael Domfey goals and another from Chris Tilson. What will we see in the final 10 minutes plus added time here at Dalmarnock Park? Streamer.com.au, Football West Facebook page as well. The real nitty-gritty of the evening is about to be entered into. Poked away by a Cockburn leg. It'll be a Floreat ball. Upfield from Garnham. Away from Steele. Scorich. Switch the plays on here for De Silva, who'll let it run and he'll try and carry upfield. Just checked there by Fuller. Now the switch for Andrade Basto. Cross comes in, near post, missed by Lazaro, who made the run. It might still be there for Guya, and the last touch was off. Defida McKeeser at the back post, and it'll be a corner to Cockburn. So Garnham once again delivers. Only as far as Andrade Basto, whose shot was charged down by a brave mom. Araya fighting. So too De Silva. And it's Araya who wins his team the free kick. Lazaro this time, aimed in deep. Araya's header at the drop is Andrade Basto, whose shot was blocked, and it goes behind for another Cockburn corner. They are cranking it up. It's Lazaro's ball in now. Scorich won the header. Saldaris was under it. Guya given away. Ambrogio, Defida McKeeser. Ambrogio continued his run. He gets it inside for Roberts, and it was an important foot in from Andrade Basto, who was in covering essentially from full back. I get the feeling it's going to be a real helter-skelter final 10 minutes here as the game becomes stretched. Cockburn trying to get that equaliser. Floreat maybe even fancying their chances of getting a third and sealing goal. Peterson keeps it alive. Andrade Basto's down here on this near side in a lot of pain, but Cockburn are continuing. Ball is cleared upfield. Forward from Peterson. Cockburn still with a player down. Ambrogio then with a tug on the jersey. And Garnham's keen to get it moving, much to the frustration of the Cockburn coaching staff who want the game to be put to an end. And now Zico will let it run out, and now Andrade Basto will get some attention. So both teams will use this opportunity to come across the sideline and have a drink and maybe receive a final message. Andrade Basto remains to be seen whether he continues. Back to league action this weekend. Cockburn will be back here on Saturday against Perth Soccer Club. They picked up their first win under Danny Hay at the weekend. They're then away at Sorrento and at home to Perth Red Star, albeit that away game at Sorrento remains to be seen where that will be played at, given Percy-Dore Reserve's unavailability due to the FIFA Women's World Cup and Haiti training there. Floreat, meanwhile, have got a really tough run on paper. They've got Stirling away at Macedonia Park in the derby, and then they've got Perth Red Star at home and second place Balcatta away. So it's a brutal fixture list coming up for Vas Vujicic and his team. Andrade Basto hasn't been able to continue. Which means Rafael Gomba will come on for the final minutes of this one. Robert Petkov was being briefly prepared by Floreat, but that substitution's just been put on hold for the minute. Guya, fancy footwork, left the ball behind. Ambrogio stalled in, and he was trying to win his team a throw-in. I think all he did was give the ball away himself. Forward from Garnham, good pass. Cross comes in from De Silva. Backpedaling with Saudaris, not for the first time, and once again the safety first approach was taken. And now Robert Petkov will come on. And I think he's going to replace Nick Ambrogio for these final minutes. Petkov perhaps that bit more of an aerial presence as Cockburn put a few set pieces into the mixer and try and claw themselves a late equaliser. It's the first appearance in quite some time for Robert Petkov. Good to see him back on the pitch. Integral part of the title-winning season in 2022. And he's going to get straight into that penalty area and try and help his team defend this ball in. We've got about a minute left plus any added time. Lazaro's ball comes in. It's met by the knee of Garnham. Lazaro will get a second crack. It's dinked up to the near post. Saudaris came, fumbled and gathered at the second time of asking. Clearance from Saudaris, didn't find a teammate, into touch instead. Giving the ball back to Cockburn. Gomba wins his team a throw. Skoric's flick. Lazaro helps on. Sebastian De Silva lifts over Saudaris, and it's headed off the line by Minic. And Floreat survive a bit of a scare late in the piece. Petkov, Roberts, Floreat have three forward in front of him. Roberts couldn't pick one of his teammates out. Now the switch for De Silva. Garnham. Gomba. Still plenty of time left for the Cockerels. The reverse pass. De Silva skips past one challenge, goes to ground. There was contact. Cockburn will get the free kick. We've played over a minute of added time. There'll be a bit of stoppage time because of Andrade Basto's injury a moment or so ago. Crowd wait with anticipation. Lazaro on the free kick. Cockburn with 7 white shirts in the area and Gomba just on the edge of the box. Clipped in by Lazaro. It's helped on by Arnold. It's dealt with by Fuller. And it was really good work from Fuller to stand his ground, and he'll try and carry upfield. The switch of the play didn't quite hit to Fitter McKeezer, and he gives it back to Craggs. Over Skorich. Zico chasing. He'll get on the end of it as well. Friday Zico. He desperately tries to keep in play, but Minich got the better of him on that occasion, and Saldaris and Floreat will try and maybe just take a little bit of the sting out of this one. Saldaris forward. Petkov's flick. Dole's poked away. Garnham helps up the line. Skorich in board. Araya in space. He invites Guya forward. Cockburn come again. They've given us a real crack in this second half. De Silva's stayed on side. Crosses charge down. Cockburn throw. They get it moving quickly. Doles is going to chuck this one into the mixer. Zico was arriving unmarked, and if he timed it better, he may have been able to get it on target. He was completely untracked at the back post. Whether he just took his eye off it for a split second as it came over a sea of bodies in the penalty area is another thing, but an opportunity goes begging. Will that be Cockburn's last chance, or will they get one more? De Silva's flick. Guya's making good pace over on the right. Gomba's ahead of him. De Silva in board. Shouts for handball, nothing doing. De Silva still. Cross charge down. Play continues. It's at the wrong end of the ground as far as Cockburn are concerned. They've got to get it forward, and they've got to do it now. It's aimed towards Skorich, who flicks on. Minich heads it back. Garnham, Doles, Guya to his outside. Sliding challenge. Was a desperate but illegal one according to the referee. And this might be it. Well, Lazaro tried to take it quickly, and he didn't beat the man. And now the shot comes in from long range by a tired attempt from Petkov as he tried to burn away and used his petrol tickets. Cockburn come again. The layoff will be Saraya. And that'll be a goal kick, and that might just about do it for Floreat. Still we play. Petkov, Defida McKeezer, chance to run into the area and strike. Craggs saves around the corner. But it's at the wrong end of the ground as far as Cockburn are concerned. There's a long way from Cockburn's goal to the goal they need to get it into. And I can't imagine that too many numbers are going to be committed into the penalty area for the taking of this corner. And indeed, it's Petkov who's going to try and just hold it up, I suspect. Time was ticking down there. Mom turned back into trouble. Floreat are off their Floreat's bench are all off their feet. They want the game over and done with. Cockburn. One final thrust. They run out of time. Floreat Athena. 4-timers into the Australia Cup round of 32. But boy, did they have to defend hard to get over the line tonight. They take their place on the national stage with Inglewood United, and that pair will meet in the State Cup final later in the season. It was a tight game. It was a really fast-paced game, particularly in the first half. Both goals in the opening 45 came from Phil Arnold, both from set pieces, which weren't quite dealt with by the Cockerels. And Arnold got 2 close-range goals, either side of Jesse Lazaro's answer, which ultimately provided them with that ticket into the draw next midweek. Cockburn will have to refocus on the league, as too will Floreat in fairness. But the visitors will be a lot happier as they set the record as WA's most represented team at national level. So, full time here then. That's a wrap from Dalmatnak Park. Thanks to Tom on the camera. My name's been Tommy Dolman. It's been great joining you tonight. Streamer.com.au and on the Football West Facebook page. We'll bid you good night. Floreat Athena joining Inglewood United in the Australia Cup round of 32 for 2023.